Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. We're doing a little walk today, and what snuck up on me out in the middle of nowhere, this Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight is actually going to happen. It's going to be on Friday night. It's going to be on Netflix. And basically, that's all I really know about it. This fight, I think, was supposed to happen earlier in the summer. I think it was supposed to be around 4th of July. And Tyson had like an episode on an airplane. And I guess he was able to get himself back into shape. And this fight's going to be happening. I mean, for me, honestly, I hope this fight for Tyson isn't just like a money grab. I hope that he's just not going in there and just like take a fall for Jake Paul to sort of push his boxing career. I don't know a lot about Paul. Mike Tyson, I'm an old guy, but I didn't watch all of Tyson's career. I can remember ESPN the morning after the fight against Buster Douglas, where Tyson actually lost, and it was like live coverage that they were just so stunned. Nobody ever thought that this was going to have a chance to happen, that he would actually lose, especially on a fight that they kind of put together that was just sort of like a bridge to get Tyson to an Evander Holyfield fight. Evander Holyfield had already signed the deal, and it was supposed to be like the biggest fight that they could make in the history of boxing at the time. And instead, this guy that they thought had no chance, Buster Douglas, was the new champion. But once, Tyson, went to jail, which I believe he went to jail like in Indianapolis. And once he was able to be released, he came back. And I remember him having fights on like Fox. I bet it's the equivalent of like my dad watching Muhammad Ali fights that were like on Wide World of Sports and stuff like that back in the day, where they just were on prime time. It was on free TV. He fought a guy named Peter McNeely, and it was pretty easy light work. I think everybody knew that that's what the fight was supposed to be. That Tyson just needed a guy to go into the ring that he was going to knock out. But McNeely, he like recited a poem that he wrote. It gave it like a little bit of limelight, and then Tyson went on to fighting a couple more times where he lost to Evander Holyfield, won by famously disqualification, where he bit him in the ear. One of the fights, they actually had a guy like not drone in, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? He like sort of like he jumped out of a plane and brought himself in there, I think via a fan and a parachute. And that was like Fan Man. He actually like fell into the ring mid-fight. They had to stop the round and gather everybody back together. I remember that actually once they got him out of the ring, he was like the security that was around the ring like, pretty much roughed him up. It is what it is. But I mean, I don't see Tyson as somebody who is in dire needs to get back into the ring for one more payday, where he's gonna risk his, I guess you can say, legacy. I mean, books have already been written about Tyson. The movies have already been made about Tyson. He's already gone out and done like a one-man show, going out there pretty much telling his career. They made that TV show a couple of years ago, where they turned his show into a TV show, and then he didn't really like the way that he was like represented, even though they were telling his story the way he said it. But him losing this fight, I don't think is going to happen. I don't know much about Jake Paul. I don't think I've ever seen any of his fights. And I'm hoping this fight is pretty much on a normal time. I haven't, watched boxing in considerably a good amount of years. Probably the last fight that I can remember watching live was McGregor, when he got into the boxing ring and he fought against Money Mayweather. I want to think that maybe that was like 2016. Maybe it was like 2015. And they turned into like an all-night affair, where basically like the main event isn't even getting into the ring until like after 9, which is like midnight on the East Coast. Hopefully, because it's Netflix and it's going to be a live deal. Hopefully, they're like, hey, we kind of have to like put this in a normal time that we know that people are going to watch. And it's a gamble for Netflix to throw a lot of money down on this big fight, because of the fact, who already doesn't have Netflix? I know that Netflix is trying to get into the sports game a little bit. They're going to be having football games. I can't remember if it's like the Christmas Eve games or the New Year's Day games, maybe the New Year's Eve games, some sort of deal. They're going to be running football games on Netflix, and that's going to be kind of weird. I did watch the Chris Rock special. I think I watched the Dave Chappelle special when it was live, and you just click the button and there's a countdown and the show starts. And to watch live stuff on there, I guess it's bridging the gap to them actually having kind of like Hulu or YouTube TV, like live television, like live stuff that you can view. I think that is the future, and I think that's what they want to be bridging into to get bigger as it is. Because like I said, who's going to be signing up to watch this fight? Who already doesn't have Netflix? Who isn't using their mom's Netflix account? Who isn't doing something like that? I think I've had Netflix since like 2010, when I was like, watching movies, when I was actually getting DVDs in the mail to watch, and then they gave you the option to watch them on your PS3 or your Nintendo Wii. I think I've had it that long, but this is a fight, honestly, that I'm not going to say I'm like looking forward to it, but I want to see that ruthless side of Tyson. I want to see if he, does have that killer, one punch. I think later in his career, like the last fights that we saw him having, was kind of like he went into each round knowing that he had that one punch. He didn't want to really like put in the work, or if it's like blow, 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 bam. But he, I guess since we are doing a boxing video, it's like boom, boom, boom. Now that's boxing. So hopefully I got a pop out of Justin, Miguel, and Ravi right there. But I can remember him really not putting in the work and just sort of like just waiting for his shot to do it. I think if Jake hits him enough times, I mean, anybody at that age is going to go down. You're really not bringing your legacy into the ring, but we'll have to see if Tyson still has it. I think that's a draw for people that are my age or older, that they've remembered the legacy of Tyson and what he once was. But I mean, the 1985 Tyson is not climbing into the ring here. This is 2024 against the guy that wants to be known as a boxer. I really don't know anything that he does anywhere else. But I know that he's lost a few fights, but he's looking forward to this fight being his gap to getting into a fight against Canelo. So see that guy writing his own tombstone, pretty much as it is. But I mean, if you get into this game to make money, you gotta find a fight bigger than the last fight to make more money than you did on that fight on the next fight. So hopes and dreams to him. But his brother Logan got into WWE. I didn't really think much of him. I thought that it was kind of like a signing that they've been using him a few times to use that celebrity status, but that guy really put the work in, wanting to learn. He felt the drive of like doing it, and that match against Roman, really did it for me. There was a part of me that thought that he was going to win that match just to win the match going into it, and that was the reason why I was watching it, just so they could have that moment of him being the champion, being able to take it, on shows, kind of like what he did when he was the United States champion. But I really thought he was going to win the WWE Undisputed Championship from Roman that night at Crown Jewel. They hyped that up so good. But, we'll have to see if Jake's got it too. But big fight, Friday night, hopefully, on my time, hopefully it's before midnight. But I can guarantee you that I'm going to be watching, and we'll see what goes down, and boom, boom, boom. Now that's boxing. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Today is the day. Jake Paul going up against Mike Tyson. Big fight. Going to be happening on Netflix. I'll tell you the truth. It really feels like this fight came up out of the middle of nowhere. I really think that everyone in America that has access to watching Netflix is going to watch this fight. It's not like you have to call up your local cable provider and pay $120 in order to watch this fight. A lot like the Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather fight back in the day. That fight really snuck up on a lot of people, where a lot of people thought that nobody was going to get that fight because of the price point. And then when it really came down to it, everybody stayed home and everybody watched that fight. Everybody paid the money for it. And it drew a huge buy rate out of the middle of nowhere, only because I don't think anybody was really talking about it. And nobody really planned on going over to somebody else's house in order to see it. The more I think about this fight, I mean, I've been really listening to, like, this morning I woke up and Dave Portnoy put up a video. Basically, he was talking about the fact that, you know, he's been a Mike Tyson fan his whole career. You know, he's followed him. He's done this. He's done that. And it just doesn't make sense that, you know, Tyson at 60 fighting against Jake Paul is going to win this fight. Even Jersey Jerry from Barstool came out and he basically said that he thought that Tyson was going to lose. Tyson might even quit on the stand. You know, sitting on the stool in the corner. You know, I guess as I get older, I'm just rooting for the older guy. That's it. That's just basically all there is involved in this, is that I want Tyson to win this fight. I think just you know, to beat the old story of just, you know, being old, can't do it anymore. You just want to believe in the guy. You know, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, when they do these boxing events, they pick their opponents in order to draw huge buy rates, but they kind of pick guys that they know that they'd be able to beat. This all started with, I think, Nate Robinson, the basketball player from the New York Knicks. I think he fought a football player. Then he started boxing like old UFC guys, and now he's just fighting against boxers. He fought that one boxer's brother, and he lost. So, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. I'm kind of planning my whole day around this fight. There's going to be 4 fights that are going to happen on the main card on Netflix. So you don't have to be there right at 5 o'clock. I think this fight happens, well, here on the West Coast. So I mean, you don't have to be there right when this thing comes on at 8 o'clock Pacific for most people out. Or no, let's start all over. You don't have to be there at 8 o'clock Eastern for the most people out there in the United States. But, you know, probably 2 hours in, this fight is actually going to happen. And I think, I don't know if there's going to be like a big pre-show or, you know, sort of like a kickoff event that you need to be sitting on the couch right when this thing starts. I know that there's a big women's fight in the co-main event slot that's going to happen before this. The 2 fights before that, I really don't know anything about them. So it is what it is. Like I said, if I had money on this fight, it'd be on Mike Tyson. Jake Paul, he's a favorite. And it's still the big bet that everybody's making, that he's gonna win this thing. So I don't know how many rounds this is. I don't really know what the rules are. I know that the Paul brothers kind of make their own rules when they do these boxing events, but hopefully Mike can get it done. I believe in him. 60 years old, coming up over the top. It's a lot like, you know, Rocky 6. That movie was based around, you know, a video game coming out, and then just basically saying that Rocky couldn't beat a guy today, so he trained, he came back, and he shows that he could overcome the odds. And there was 2 endings to the movie if you got the DVD, if you're back in the DVD days. I think if you find, I don't even think they call it Rocky 6. I think it's just called Rocky Balboa. But if you watch that, he loses at the end. But if you got the DVD or the Blu-ray back in the day on the bonus features, he wins. And he's walking out. He didn't even care at the end. He just kind of raises his hands as he goes into the back. He's already out of the ring. He's not waiting for the decision. But we'll have to see. My money's on Tyson. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out. Good brother summer.